You look really familiar. I've seen you before, haven't I?
Barry.
Barry.
Barry Allen.
Right, sorry.
Some people are just meant to be in your life.
What am I gonna do with you?
Well, I can think of a few things. Might need a stretch first, though. You told me the dead don't want anything. Either I'm willing to do whatever is necessary, or I shouldn't be up there at all.
Which is exactly why I can't be.
You can't kill murder. You can't get revenge on evil. You can only fight them where they live.
X-Men.
And
Hey, everybody. Schnicked. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Zone, episode 85 for the week ending December 3rd, 2016. Almost done with 2016, and good riddance.
yes,
But-
I can't wait.
But
Although I'm afraid about next year too.
yeah, it's got that ominous music building, doesn't
It
it?
sure does.
Dun 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 dun
Yes,
dun.
that is not the least fitting music for next year.
That theme is going to get so much play next year,
Mhm.
especially on January 20th. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got a new Funko figure. This is the current New 52/Rebirth Flash.
Very nice.
Yeah, with the lightning bolts all over his suit, as opposed to the classic.
Right. He
So
has like
yeah,
eyebrows.
Well, he's got that's supposed to be speed electric trails, but
Yeah.
it does look like eyebrows, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
If you just
Is
look from
he
the front side.
Is he the one from the movies?
No, this is the one from the comics currently.
Okay.
So, and then as opposed to the traditional
Right.
with the clean suit,
Right.
where there's no lightning everywhere.
But the guy in the movies is like a weird segmented sort of.
Yeah, that's the whole armored thing that just
Yeah, I know. Not
it's
for me.
ugly because nothing says speed and streamlined
And mobility.
and wind resistant than armor,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Instead of the second skin.
yeah. So Zack Snyder can suck a bag of dicks as far as I'm
I
concerned.
agree.
Okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So on that wonderful note, hello again, everyone.
Raising?
Yeah. So we're gonna do 4 episodes for right now because we're gonna do a part 1 and a part 2 this week because there's so many shows. This is our last really, really big show for this year until the hiatus is over. But we still have a kind of a pretty big week this last week. There's like about 6, I believe, coming up this coming week. So we're going to split this one up at least into 2. And today we're going to cover The Walking Dead, episode 6 of the 7th season. We're changing things up a little bit this time. We're going to do Lucifer, episode 10 of the 2nd season. Then we're going to do the first couple episodes of the 4-part Invasion crossover event, which was mostly a 3-part Invasion crossover event plus a prologue which was completely irrelevant because you could just watch The Flash and see the exact same scene.
Right. And I have to say right up front that they announced it as a 3-part
I know they announced it.
at the beginning.
Yes.
So I was not expecting it to be a 4-part crossover.
But
so
they hyped it on the commercials as a 4-part event.
I know, but I still don't know why everyone is so butthurt about it.
I'm butthurt because they hyped it on the commercials as a 4-part event. So don't do that if it's just going to be a little scene here.
Well,
that's why I'm butthurt about it. So that's me. Yeah, well, I'm moving on.
Okay, good.
Like I told Cisco, put a, vibe a dimensional portal on the ground and get over it.
Right.
So we're going to do just the first two parts of that 3.0001
Mm-hmm.
crossover event. So we're going to do Supergirl episode 8 of the second season and episode 8 of The Flash's third season.
Correct. And they are calling it Medusa
Yes.
and Invasion Part 1, which kind of should...
Well, the actual title is Medusa.
I know.
But
since The Flash is Invasion Part 2...
Yeah. Well, that just has Invasion as well.
There-
So it's like the Flash's episode this week is Invasion. Arrow's episode this week was Invasion. Legends of Tomorrow was Invasion, but Supergirl's was Medusa.
On the CW page, it does say Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4.
Right.
For
But
those.
but on like the Time Warner and all that, it says yeah. Right. And then I'm sure it'll be like that. I think it's like that on iTunes as well.
Yes.
So those are the iTunes descriptions. So all right, let's jump right in to The Walking Dead, episode 6 of the 7th season, Swear.
Right.
And
I
this
don't have any idea why it is called Swear.
well, because of the pinky swear that Tara makes.
Okay.
Not like you're swearing at somebody,
Okay.
but it's that pinky swear that Tara makes to the Oceanside people to not reveal.
Okay.
That's my
Got it.
guess.
Got it.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Sounds good. So this is written by David Leslie Johnson, directed by Michael E. Satrazemis.
Okay.
So Karen, what's our A, B, and C this week?
A story, and I'm hoping you get this at the very least.
Yeah.
Amazon Women in the Woods.
Nice. Is that a nice nod to Amazon Women on the Moon?
Yes.
Yes! I have that as a Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a terrible
That's a
movie.
classic. Classic.
The B story is A Bridge Too Far.
Nice.
And the C story is Home is Where the Heart Was.
Okay.
Sob. Yeah. Someone wasn't expecting to come home. And...
Yeah, Tara got kind of a rather depressing greeting from Eugene when she got back to Alexandria. So we'll talk about that. So, all right, diving right in. Amazon Women in the Woods, which of course is the Oceanside gals. And relax, I'm not being, like...
No, that's what they were, gals.
They're gals, but I'm not trying to be, dismissive.
No.
Okay.
Gals is fine.
Okay.
They were.
Okay. So, yes. So, this is our main story plot because this episode was a spotlight episode on Tara, catching up on where she's been while the actress Alana Masterson has been off preggers.
Right.
And comes back. So I guess now that she's had her kid, this is like her first episode back.
Part of it, she was only like 2 days after she gave birth or something. She said when she fell off the bridge, she had just come back.
You got to give respect for that, to come back that quickly after a kid.
Right.
Especially your first kid, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, from what I understand, that if it's like your second or third kid, it's a lot easier because your body's accustomed to it more.
Right.
But that first kid is when, So kudos to her for coming right back and giving it her best shot and actually doing like a big, heavy episode for her right off the bat.
I have to say, I had totally forgotten about them.
Yeah. It's like, well, that was one of the things I pointed out on Twitter is like, oh yeah, Heath. Remember Heath?
Right.
Remember dreads and glasses and...
Yeah.
It was nice that they reminded us that Heath was still alive, wasn't it?
Right. I guess.
Although you don't really get to see much of him in this episode, but we did have a Heath sighting, so there you go. So take a drink, I guess, but in your Walking Dead game.
To be honest, if they had just kind of dropped that thread, I don't think the show would have suffered very much.
No.
And I'm not saying I don't like them, the actors.
Right.
But I'm just saying they're pretty expendable.
Right, but it did help to give Tara's episode a little more closure because it brought it full circle And we get that reveal at the end of what happened to her on the bridge
Right.
with Heath when
Right.
those sand zombies,
Yeah. Desert zombies.
dune desert zombies.
Yeah. They were like those worms. Whatever those
the
things
oh
are.
the sandworms.
Yeah.
If you walk without rhythm, you won't attract the worm.
Is that what it's
That's a
saying?
line from
Dune?
you know that song that with that really great Christopher Walken video,
Oh, yeah.
Freedom, like Weapon of Choice.
Right. Where he dances around.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
from that
Okay.
song. So
Very cool.
if you're familiar with the Christopher Walken video, I can't
Yeah.
remember the guy. I should know that it's like a DJ type thing or somebody that does the song. I
Right.
can't
They
remember
do
it.
the same. They do the "It's a Wonderful Night"
Yeah,
song.
yeah. I can't remember it, but that's where the if you walk without rhythm, you won't attract the worm. And that, of course, is from Dune by Frank Herbert.
Oh,
So that's
cool.
So it's a nice little pop culture web of tapestry for everybody. All
Very
right.
nice.
So Tara, we find out this is like 2 weeks after the attack on the Savior satellite outpost.
Keith is
Outpost
not
number
feeling
5. Come in, outpost number 5.
Keith is not feeling good about it.
Nope.
Tara is okay with it. She thinks they did what they had to do.
Right.
They're having a disagreement, but they also get blocked on the bridge, right?
Right. There's this big obstruction of like this. Someone dumped a crap ton of sand on the bridge.
Right.
It's probably like some kind of blockade to keep the walkers out, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But then they just get in there and they're like, "Ooh, this is like a like a sandbox, and we'll just
Look,
play.
there's a
We'll just
duffel bag.
we'll just
Well-
play around with it."
There was a big duffel bag in there, and she thought there might be stuff in it.
Hmm.
But still,
No roller skates, sadly.
right, right.
Remember that from last week? Yeah, the roller. Yeah,
Yeah.
poor Tara does not get roller skates like Carl and Enid
No.
did.
We never do find out what's in that duffel bag, but I don't think we want to.
I don't think so either.
No.
It's probably pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But as we find out at the end of the episode, Tara gets knocked off the bridge into the river. She washes up like on a beach. And there's this community called Oceanside that we find out,
Hmm.
where it's a group of survivors that consist only of women and children.
Right.
Female children over the age of, unless they were younger than the age of 10, we find out.
Right.
And at first, Tara is kind of trying to figure out what these people were about. They're very militaristic. They have a crap ton of weapons, which I'm sure will be very important later on.
Yep.
And, they seem pretty well trained on how to use them.
Hmm.
And like, there's a nice little coordinated way that they corner Tara and take her into custody or whatever. And then eventually they decide to, okay, let's see what this Tara girl's about. So they invite her to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's sit down and have a nice piece of wrapped fish.
Right.
This, of course, is after the wrapped fish that was left for Tara on the beach
Hmm.
by this girl named Cindy.
Right. And they say, "So, did you like the fish?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, loved it. It's great, raw fish. How
Because- Well, we're not gonna have fish. We're gonna have stew, which I thought was funny. They kind of faked her out.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think part of it was to check out her story because she had said that she was
right.
on a fishing boat, and she picked the one thing that wasn't a fishing boat.
Yeah, it was the worst lie ever.
Yeah.
Worst story ever, and they called her out on it.
Yeah.
But they seemed to like want to see if, I guess, try to gauge how much they could trust her.
Hmm.
And I think overall, even apart from the crappy story, which they were smart enough not to buy,
Right.
they felt they could trust her enough to kind of, they get this one story that there was a skirmish And apparently that left all the men and a few others dead, including Cindy's brother and mother.
Right.
And then supposedly after that, they left their home and found this new community. But because of all this trauma, that led to their harsh view of other people like strangers.
Right.
So now then we get a full story later on in this where I guess Beatrice reveals the full story behind the community, that she confirms the Saviors were the other group that attacked and killed the men. And apparently they lined up all the men and boys over the age of 10 that were lined up and executed.
Right.
And they tried to fight back. Some of the women, including Cindy's mother, were killed.
Right.
So that's why they've kind of adopted this whole, like, you can't do anything to stop these guys. They're too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So they're totally frightened by the Saviors at this point.
So what happened is they picked up
Mm-hmm.
and they moved over to the coast, and they have all these like early warning systems set up
Right.
around the place, and they don't have one near the beach,
Right.
so they patrol the beach.
They're actually pretty well organized.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that will come into play if you're not already getting this impression that, well, gee, we've got all these characters going to different corners of this area and meeting all these new communities. Maybe we could, like, since they're kind of representatives of the main Walking Dead group, maybe they could just, like, bring everybody together in a nice little army and let's go after Negan's guys.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So the question is, how are they going to do that?
Right. Next season.
Yeah,
Because-
Well, at least the next half season, because this is only the first half of season 7.
Well, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has already said he's going to be on season 8.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it'll be-
Negan's, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But I'm sure at the end of this season we'll probably get something like Rick saying, "Well, we got to bring everybody together."
Mm-hmm. There's going to be some organization
Yeah.
happening, I think,
So
and some
the
dissension.
Rick Tater may become General Rick,
Right.
Commander Rick.
Right. Underground
Yeah.
Commander Rick
Right.
on the down low,
Yeah.
because I think he's already.
You mean like a field commander?
Well, he doesn't want Negan to know what's happening, and I think that's already started that
Right.
with the going along with Negan.
Yeah, he's not going to be overt about it. It's going to be like a underground resistance, more like.
Right.
Yeah, I think
But
you're right. I
he's
think
still
you're absolutely right.
He's going to be the organizational guy, but he's going to do it behind Negan's back.
Yeah, and he'll put on this public face of like, "Yes, Master, I am totally under your subservience," and then secretly going like, "We gotta get rid of this guy."
And I suspect he's not going to be able to tell Coral.
Yeah, because he has to keep up the facade, and Coral sucks at acting.
Well, yeah, and other reasons,
Yeah.
which we won't get into here because spoilers.
Ooh. Dun dun dun. Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on where the show goes, but
Yep.
we don't know. They
Okay.
don't always follow that.
So
So I was wondering where the what were they called again? Oceanside?
Oceanside. Yeah.
Where they were, like Hilton Head or
Well, you figure Alexandria in the Virginia area, right?
oh,
Right?
well, they were in Atlanta first, right?
But remember they moved. They traveled. I think they're up by Virginia now, aren't they?
they are
Maybe
Well,
not filming wise because they're still in Georgia, but
right.
I think story wise, I think we're in
So,
Virginia.
Alexandria. So what does that look like?
I don't know, but somehow they're on the coast.
It's very swampy looking.
They had to be probably pretty close to the coast.
There's nothing very swampy though.
I don't know. There's got to be a website out there that figures this out. I have to
Yes,
think.
It does.
I guess we should have looked on that. Do some homework, but
I don't know. I'll see
Well,
if I can come up with something.
Research Goddess will be on this.
I will be.
and we'll get a full report next time.
I know a lot of the areas around here.
I would think because
I
you're
live
from
very close to Alexandria.
yeah, you're in
Not
Virginia,
from
so
there, but yeah.
yeah, you're in Virginia.
I've been all around Virginia.
So you should know this. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. Okay. So Tara, I guess they're looking to kill Tara because I don't think they can. They think they can't trust her.
Right. That's their first thing. That's their edict.
Right, because they don't want Tara giving away their location.
Right.
So through all this, I guess Beatrice is about ready to blow away Tara, saying she can't risk Tara exposing their location. But Cindy comes out of the trees and knocks her down, and then tells Tara, "Run, Tara, run!"
Right. Run, Tara, run!
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Run, Forrest, run! So we have. I guess Tara makes her like escape. Cindy helps her get back to Alexandria, makes her pinky swear to, as we talked about, to not reveal the location to the Saviors. Yeah, I won't reveal that. I might reveal it to, somebody else,
Right.
but wink, wink.
So far, she doesn't.
So far, she doesn't, yes, because she does get back to Alexandria, and this kind of gets into home is where the heart was.
Mm-hmm.
Which sadly, once she gets back to Alexandria, she is greeted by Eugene, where she kind of gets caught up on what's been going down and what's been going down. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping ahead here because there was she comes across this like stash of stuff where she gets like these bright neon orange sunglasses, and there's like a nurse bobblehead.
Right.
And she brings that back for Denise. Well, she comes back and gets the story that, well, Denise is sadly no longer with us, which is very tragic for Tara, obviously.
Because they hadn't even started their relationship.
Right. So, so Tara's kind of obviously understandably upset about this. Rosita kind of keeps her company. Tara's kind of clutching that bobblehead and kind of thinking about Denise's death. But Rosita tries to get some information about where she was all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is, will Tara reveal it? But she chooses not to tell Rosita about Oceanside.
Right.
So as far as we know for now, she at least kept her promise to Cindy.
Right. And there is also, when they take her back to that bridge, there's a scene where she tries to find Heath.
Right.
And she sees a walker with dreads.
Right, but it turns out to be a woman because you see the dress.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not Heath. They do a total fake out on the audience. Deliberately.
Dumb,
yeah, it was dumb.
I was like, come on.
It's like, try and manipulate us a little more, why don't you? But yeah, so basically she finds Heath's glasses in the dirt or whatever. No sign of Heath, though, so comic book rules, if you don't see a body, and even then, they're not dead.
Right.
Although they could be a zombie, but...
That's true.
So, but for right now, we don't know. So let's just go with the assumption that Heath's alive until we find out otherwise.
Well, she found Heath.
She didn't find... No, she found his glasses. She didn't find him.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah, there was like this white card with the letters PPP written on it in marker.
Right.
So is that a clue he left her where he is, maybe?
Right.
Or who took him? We don't know.
Forgot that.
So,
right.
yeah.
So she goes back and...
Yeah. So, and then I think that's pretty much it, unless there's anything else you want to add.
That's it.
Okay, what's your rating for this one?
I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, I feel you. I totally feel
it. It was a filler. Definitely a filler.
Total filler. And this is a filler on top of last week's filler.
Right. A filler with characters that don't really ring a bell for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine, but...
Right. Well, the problem, the way The Walking Dead is structured is that, we have these big episodes, but because of the budgetary reasons, they have to do these filler episodes where it's just a character spotlight.
Super
and it
long.
totally drags down the momentum of the series.
Agreed.
So they really need to work out a happy medium. Either scale back these really big episodes
Mm-hmm.
a little bit and save some budget, throw it into the middle of the season,
Mm-hmm.
or the half season rather, and kind of, lift this up a little, because these little peaks and valleys that we're getting on the show, it's like this, like one week it's awesome and the next week you're like, ugh.
Right. Definitely. This just was nothing to me. I mean, it kept my interest through the hour.
Right. It wasn't horrible, but it just was there.
Yeah, I did not rewatch it.
Yeah.
Um,
So what was
I
your rating?
remembered enough. I gave it 7 helpings of dried fish. And sorry for stealing that from you.
No, that's totally okay. This episode was kind of dried fish, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
It was.
So I give it a little more generous. I gave it 7.5 nurse bobbleheads in
That's
memory
perfect.
of Denise.
I do miss Denise.
Yeah, I do too. And I would have liked to have seen how they would have had a little relationship for a while, but
Me too. That
sadly
would
we
have been
did not get that.
That would have made Tara more interesting to me
Yes.
because I like Denise,
So thanks, Saviors.
right?
Yeah. Dwight. Looking at you, buddy.
Stupid Dwight
Stupid Dwight. All right.
doesn't know how to work the bow and arrow.
Okay, so let's lighten things up a little bit from that depressing Walking Dead. And let's shift gears to Lucifer this week. We're going to do
Right.
things a little bit out of order. Episode 10 of the second season, Quid Pro Ho.
What a great title.
Great title. Love it. Love it.
By the way, Lucifer is getting huge thumbs up this season
Mhm.
from a lot of the critics, saying it might not draw huge numbers for Fox, but it is getting so much better.
Yep.
With the mythos and the acting.
It is totally developing its own mythos, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And it did get picked up for the rest of the season.
Right. And they're saying it's bringing good things. It was featured in an article about what's the best and the worst of 2016 so far. It was featured in the best part of that
Right.
on TV Line. So
There are some weeks it actually beats Gotham in ratings.
Yep.
So this one was written by Ildi Modrovich and Julia Fontana, directed by Nathan Hope.
Awesome.
What's our A, B, and C?
Trials and tribulations.
Mm-hmm.
And tribulations is one of those kind of biblical words.
Right.
So I thought that would be fitting.
That always makes me think of the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Trials and Tribulations,
Tribulations.
which was the nice little big crossover where the DS9 crew goes back into the original Star Trek series, which was
And they used
an
the footage.
awesome episode. And they kind of digitally inserted themselves into the episode, which was awesome.
It was very, very cool.
Very clever. I think it won some awards for its.
I think it did too. For
Yeah. So I think it maybe didn't got like a what's that? I can't remember. But anyway, one of those.
I think it may have won a Neptune.
Or Nebula Award maybe. Or something.
Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula. That's probably it. That's probably what I'm thinking. Yeah, go
Chick
ahead.
Fight.
Chick Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Dan thought it was up to him to fight, which I found
Which
hilarious.
is amusing, yes.
Hilarious.
And C Story.
Blessing in disguise.
Okay.
And I gotta go like this.
Yep.
Woo!
Yep. Yeah, I could.
Right,
You were right. You were right.
I
Gotta give
was
credit.
right.
Yeah, we gotta give credit.
This is a 1.5 year long payoff for me.
Well, still, it's kind of nice. This plot line, this story thread has been running quite a while, and they finally came right out and gave it the their big revelation, and they did it in such an understated way.
I know, right?
They didn't just go tune in tonight on Lucifer for the big revelation about what the deal is with Chloe.
Right?
And
Right.
they just oh, by the way, this happened and this happened,
Right.
which we'll
And now
get into.
confirm it
Yep.
for people that may not have been listening to us for 1.5 years.
That's
How
right.
long have I been saying?
Pretty much since this show started.
That's right.
I
That
put
the reason he is affected is because she is not just special. There's something otherworldly about her.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
gee,
Well, I agreed with you, didn't I?
yes, you did.
I was wise
You
enough
come up
to.
with it?
Yep. So up top, Skype up top,
Yep.
where we can't slap hands. But so it just America went up for Karen there in the
That's right. That
Karen
was
column.
one of my early theories in the first 5 episodes, I think.
Yep.
I was pretty sure that was what the deal was. Because his brother could hurt him, I thought, well, there's something different about her.
I'm totally going to be the same way when the Abracadabra reveal comes out.
I know. And I'm going to be so happy for you. And when Mon-El is a prince.
Right. Yeah, that one too. I forgot
And
about
that
that
one was kind of hinted at in this episode as well.
Yeah.
Supergirl.
Yep, but we'll get into that later.
We will.
All right, so first Lucifer, though.
Yeah.
All right, Trials and Tribulations. Not Tribulations, sorry. So this is the story where we've got the trial of the guy that is accused of killing Chloe's father.
Right.
And turns out that Charlotte, of all people, is his defense attorney.
Right.
Because of course she is.
Right. But are they trying him for the father, or are they trying him for the guy that he killed?
I understand that it's the murder trial for the guy who killed her father.
Okay.
So that's why Chloe's mother. We get the return of Chloe's mother.
Right.
Once again.
Right.
Played by Rebecca De Mornay.
Mm-hmm.
Which still weirds me out because she really doesn't look like Rebecca De Mornay anymore.
I know, she doesn't.
Still going, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
I mean, I know age, and I get that, but...
She's not the worst looking person in the world.
No, but it's just, she just looks different.
She looks like a mom.
She looks like a mom, yeah. Yep. It's hard to believe it's been a long time since the 80s, so, since Risky Business.
40 years.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
All right, that it makes you depressed, doesn't it? All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I've been out of high school 40 years.
Don't remind me. I'm coming up on my 30th high school anniversary or reunion thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go because I hated all the people in high school, but
me too.
Or at least they hated me, but whatever.
Right.
But it's going to happen. With or without me.
Sure.
All right. So, with or without me. Oh, sorry. Little U2 aside there.
Here's what I loved about the trial.
Yes.
Lucifer shows up. Okay, first of all, he goes to see Dr. Linda in the beginning.
Yes.
And he's all casual, and he tells her that he had a date with Chloe.
But he didn't.
He doesn't come out and say that he didn't go. He implies it. And she figures out, you chickened out. I don't chicken out.
You totally chickened out, dude.
Right.
So he's like, okay, maybe he feels a little guilty. Because then he goes to Chloe's house.
To apologize. And plays off the fact that he doesn't know.
Well, he shows up and like, Chloe's mom's there.
Right.
And he's like, oh, you're here to support us. And Lucifer's like, sure, I'm here to support you in whatever you're doing.
Right. And he does that thing where he repeats back what someone says right almost at the same time when Chloe's mom says it.
Right.
Well, you're here to support us because it's my dad. And he goes, it's your father trial. Right.
Right. Yes, obviously.
That's what I'm here for, of course. Chloe knows that he's not there for that, but hey.
But he still hangs around, and he doesn't just bail. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they end up going to the trial, and they find out that Charlotte's the defense attorney, which of course is like awkward. And Lucifer's giving her the side eye, going, "What are you doing here?"
Right. But he's happy because he thinks that she is not going to be able to try it very well.
Right.
Because she's not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
And the problem, though, is that meanwhile, back at the police station, Dan and Ella...
Hold on.
Yeah.
You might hear that again.
Right. Yeah, you probably will hear that again. Let's just put it that way. When we get to the Invasion crossover.
Might hear that again several times.
Pretty much.
Put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Get used to it. So at the police station, we've got Dan and Ella opening a mystery package because somebody watched the movie Seven.
That's right.
What's in the box?
Yeah.
What's in the
box?
box? Yeah. So, as in the movie Seven, turns out there's a head inside the box.
Right.
The head of the prosecution's key witness at the murder of Chloe's father's trial thing.
Right.
So,
But it's not. It doesn't have everything.
what?
It doesn't have every part.
No.
It's missing its tongue, which I
Yeah.
thought was disgusting.
Right.
So it was
Well,
symbolic.
I guess they figured, yeah, because it's like, well, this is what happens to squealers.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously Dan gets a hold of Chloe to let her know this, that, oh, by the way, your key witness for the prosecution is dead. Awkward.
Right.
So the defense makes this really awkward move to like, well, hey, we need, or I mean, the prosecution is like, well, we need to kind of regroup after this. And this, of course, after they said, well, we can proceed.
Right.
So the judge is like, well, I guess we can proceed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Goes right against them.
So they start scrambling. And the Lucifer ends up getting brought in as a character witness
Right.
for Chloe after that whole scene where she went after the guy.
Right.
So she kind of had to explain all that. And then, like the Charlotte comes in, it looks, Lucifer ends up charming the entire jury, the courtroom, the people in the courtroom, and the judge.
Right.
So
Of course, the judge.
he gets applauded, just the whole thing because he's just so
He
charming.
puts on a skirt.
So he's kind of feeling cocky about himself, like, hey, I was a great witness, and, in your face, mom, that kind of thing.
Right. Except she cross-examines him and kind of skewers him a little.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So.
Can I just give a nod to Sharif Atkins, who was the prosecutor?
Yeah.
He was on White Collar, and I liked seeing him again.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor.
Yeah. So after this is over, there's like a break or something in the trial. Lucifer ends up confronting his mom about this, and she's all like, hey, I need to open your eyes about Chloe.
Right. Chloe confronts him too and says, "How did she know that if you didn't give
Exactly.
her that information?"
Yep.
Except, guess what?
Yep.
He didn't give her the information.
Mm-hmm.
Dan the man did.
Right.
I love when he's up on the stand. He never lies. Okay,
Yeah.
And it's true. He does bend the truth though, but he never lied on the stand. To the point where he says,
Mm-hmm.
"So, you tell me that on this report that Chloe was the first on the scene, but it says Dan was."
Right.
And he says, "Well, I don't call him. I call him Detective Douche." He actually says
Detective
that.
Douche as a testimony.
Right. And he gives the explanation that she removed herself from the case, and then of course, he can't lie about it. That yes, she was there first on the scene, and she removed herself, and it does poke some holes in her theory that, well, she actually might have done something nefarious in that case. So,
Yeah, it's not looking good. And then Charlotte also reveals to Lucifer that she was going to kill Chloe, which kind of sets him off. He gets all red eye,
he's not happy,
ragey.
Yep.
And Chloe sees that, and she's like, "This better not impact the trial, Buster."
Right.
Looking at you, eyes staring.
Right.
So yeah.
And then a lovely scene between Amenadiel and Maze,
Right.
where Amenadiel is looking for the bomb that
Charlotte put under Chloe's car.
right? Which never went off because Amenadiel talked her out of it at
Right.
the beginning of the episode. And Maze comes up and sets off the bomb.
Yeah, but guess what? It's on Amenadiel's car.
Right.
And you see his, like, tires rolling down the street burning.
Great.
Which was great imagery. It rolls right beside him, and Maze is just looking all pleased with herself
Right.
about it.
And she's like, does that tell you anything about your mother? And he still is just...
He's in this delusional state.
I don't get it.
Like, he's not quite connecting the dots. Like, your mom was going to blow up Chloe. That's a
Right.
bad thing, right? Remember that whole thou shalt not kill thing?
Right. Right.
What happened to that?
Well, he's still got that thing in his head where Dad doesn't talk to them at all, so he doesn't put a lot of credibility in that.
Right.
But he has confessed to her that he misses her.
Yep.
So there's that little bit there, and later on he goes to see Dr. Linda about it, but that's a whole different dealio.
Yeah.
And then there's the thing with Maze and Dan and Lucifer.
There's a great scene where basically they get some information that the guy who chopped off the witness's head was part of this Chinese syndicate that's been feuding with the Russians.
They had some sort of a brand.
Yeah, so they end up going to like this Chinese cultural center, which I guess is the front for the Chinese mob.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then on the way there, Mazikeen is hilarious because she keeps trying to get Dan to admit that he slept with Charlotte.
And she keeps using...
Double entendres, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not very double, though.
No.
I mean...
Pretty overt.
Yeah. So how are you going to slam this one home,
Yeah.
Dan? How are you going to poke holes
You're
in
just
this
going to go in and right out, right? In and right out.
Yeah, it's great. And of course, Lucifer is just completely oblivious, but Dan is like, don't you?
Yeah.
And Lucifer says, no, what? Oh, that he slept with Charlotte. And he's like, you slept
Lucifer gets
Charlotte.
so pissed, and he like throws Dan through the wall
Oh, yeah.
into the center. They end up immediately surrounded by like armed guys pointing, their guns at them.
Right.
Now, turns out, of course, Lucifer knows Chinese, so he talks his way out of it because Lucifer.
Well, kind of out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
He
There
talks
is
him into a fight.
That's true. There is a fight where they basically, okay, we'll agree to give you this information you're looking for if you defeat this guy, this
Right.
really tough guy. So who does Lucifer pick as the fighter? But I've got Mesquine right here.
He points at them, and Dan is standing partway in front of her.
Right?
And Dan's like, what do you mean? I can't take him. He goes, no, I'm pointing at Maze.
Right.
And Maze goes, yeah. And she kind of,
Yep.
puts her
Ready.
fist together and
Yep.
hits him in the shoulder, and she's all,
I'll show you. It's like, don't worry, I've got this.
right, she is really happy.
And she totally takes that guy, kicks this guy named Kang.
I love, they say, pick your weapons. And she says, I'll take those. And she points at the guy's weapons. that
Right.
he's
She's like,
taking,
I'll take yours. Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah. And she ends up, of course, taking them from him.
Right. Dug it so
Yeah,
much.
that was a great little sequence. So yeah, Leslie Ann Brandt gets some really good stuff in this episode as Mazikeen.
Loved it.
So we end up like going back to the trial, of course. Chloe takes the stand. Charlotte questions her about Lucifer's background, and Charlotte's like sputtering when Chloe says his background of running hell makes him a great detective. She's like, "You really brought that up?"
Right. So he does kind of question.
Yeah,
the
so she
guy.
did. So, and this is on top of this whole arrangement before that I forgot to mention that Charlotte kind of like intones to Chloe secretly, like, "Hey, you better like testify against Lucifer and call him a liar to hurt him, or if you do that, then I'll get the guy to admit that he's guilty, that he killed your father."
Mm-hmm.
So there's this big decision time. Will Chloe throw Lucifer under the bus so that she can get the guy that killed her father, to admit that he killed her father?
Right. Or,
Or, will she tell the truth?
right.
Which she, surprise, she actually tells the truth, and over how she feels about Lucifer over her feelings about her father's murderer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Charlotte's like stunned.
Right.
So, so she ends up defying Charlotte, says that Lucifer isn't a liar, says that she was the one who arrived first, and that the prosecution tries to strike the testimony from the record, but doesn't work. And the guy, Chloe, the murderer, is set free.
Right.
So,
however,
and this was a nice little surprise, I thought, because dude ends up going to a strip club later on,
right.
and he's like, talking to hookers and stuff. Dan shows up out of nowhere, out of the shadows, and he's like tells the guy Perry that the Russians are upset with him because they don't like when one of their own is taken out without permission.
Mm-hmm.
And as he walks away, the Russians pull up. Dan gets into Maze's car and says she's impressed. So basically, he threw the guy to the Russians.
Right.
So we'll just wipe our hands clean, take care of that problem.
Dead. Justice
served. Exactly. I think Lucifer would probably approve.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he would heartily approve.
So that was a really interesting Dan Mazikeen bonding moment.
Mm-hmm. Mazikeen knows a guy.
So is she kind of a little bit turned on by Dan at that moment? Probably. Because,
she's turned on by a lot of stuff.
And apparently Dan will sleep with anybody.
Yes, true.
So maybe there'll be some Danzakeen in the mix.
Ooh,
see what I did there?
Yeah. A Menakeen? Is it a Menakeen?
It was a Menakeen, yeah.
I don't think she's going to go for him anymore.
Yeah.
She's mad at him.
Yeah. So, speaking of Amenadiel, Charlotte finds Amenadiel at her house, who then says, well, guess what? You're right, and you're nothing like my father.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get the full story, and this is kind of the blessing in disguise story that we're talking about, that you so proudly alluded to, that 35 years ago, Amenadiel's father, dear old dad, asked Amenadiel to bless a couple to help them have a baby. And guess who that baby was? Ta-da! Chloe. She was placed intentionally in Lucifer's path, and Amenadiel realizes he was a pawn in that.
That's right.
So, finally, that big revelation to that long-running plot line.
That's right.
Since season 1.
Completely for the anarchy thing.
Yeah.
For last week.
Got it.
And I have a couple of lines here that I put in my round table.
Go ahead.
Lucifer says, maybe it's like butt stuff. And Chloe's mom goes, what? And he says, easier the second time around.
Ooh. That was a good one.
Right. Linda is talking to Amenadiel. And she says, well, she is Maze. And Amenadiel goes, I know, right? Which I dug.
That is good.
And then Maze says, I choose those for the swords. And they're called shamshears, by the way.
Oh, is that what they were?
That type of sword.
Okay.
He whips those around. And then she says, done. Because he goes,
yep.
And then she just goes, are you done?
Yeah. Are you finished yet? Showing off.
It was great.
Yeah.
One of the things that I said, it says, the question was, so Chloe was a gift from God to her parents. Why? And I said, God is omnipotent and omnipresent.
Omnipresent means is like everywhere.
Yeah, I know how to spell it.
Right.
It's just saying it is.
Yeah, omnipotent and omnipresent.
Okay.
Yeah.
He knew that Lucifer would eventually get fed up and leave hell, and he'd need someone to challenge and be a partner to him. The only way that could happen is if he orchestrated it. Also, it created the whole element of flawed immortality. which would make him question his loyalty and the decision he made to abandon his post. In this case, there's no right or wrong decision, but whatever Lucifer chooses is a choice that has weight. Did his father know it would come down to his mother visiting in order to make that choice? I think that's where we're headed. Charlotte is going to rat out Daddy, and Lucy already has issues. So she thinks that will sway him. Again, omnipresence, so yeah. We're back to why, and my answer is he works in mysterious ways.
Ooh, very nice.
So that was my answer in round 2.
That's a good answer.
I just wanted to kind of put that in there.
No, I'm glad you did. That's awesome. Well done. Just a couple more things real quick on this episode. Lucifer, after all this is done, runs into Chloe as she arrives in his apartment.
Right.
And he was on his way to bring her dinner. It's only like a bag of fries and some wine.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't care.
Counts.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts. They lean in close, and Lucifer's like, yeah, finally gonna make out with Chloe.
Yep, fade to black.
Fade to black, so I guess record scratch probably next, whenever.
Of course, because that's how every episode starts.
Yeah, exactly. If they were going to kiss, we would have seen it. We would have seen it at that point.
There's always a subversion.
Something will happen. Charlotte will show up or something, and yeah. Speaking of Charlotte, the episode ends with Charlotte saying that Chloe will help Amenadiel get his wings back, and apparently she's how they'll get everything back. And she ends with this line saying, "We're going home, son, and Chloe is the key."
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know. Now, how that's going to happen, who knows?
Because, of course, this is the mid-season finale, and you'll find out in January. So, sucker. Wait.
I'm guessing that Maze interrupts them.
Welcome to the waiting game.
It's Maze's house, too.
Yeah, because she's roommates with Chloe, so yeah. That's true. It's a good point. Could be Mazikeen showing up. But yeah. All right. So that's it. What's your rating, Karen?
8 colorful testimonies.
And I give it 8.5 burning tires rolling down the street because that was such great imagery.
It was fantastic.
Just as like Amenadiel's looking there, and then all of a sudden behind him, this tire rolls by.
Yeah, it was great. Bloop, bloop,
bloop.
Bloop,
yep.
Bloop.
All right.
Yeah.
So now you've been waiting long enough. Let's dive right in, sort of, to our invasion crossover 3.10001 crossover.
Sorry, I count the end of Supergirl as part of it.
Yeah. All right. So episode 8 of the second season, Medusa, written by Jessica Keller and Derek Simon, directed by Stefan Plazinski.
Okay.
Which is a crap ton of consonants, let me tell you.
Yep. But it is Plazinski.
Plazinski.
Yep.
So, Karen, what's our A, B, and C, if you would?
The mother of all viruses.
Right.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Okay. Coming clean or not.
Or not.
Because there are a lot of secrets, and some of them came clean, and some of them didn't. And then I did wormholes. Wormholes everywhere.
Yeah, you just kind of need a little Buzz Lightyear with Woody to accentuate that.
Exactly.
So, okay, so the mother of all viruses, that's our kind of our main plot with the Medusa virus.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, the mother being...
Lillian Luthor.
Correct.
I see what you did there. Mm-hmm. Played by Brenda Strong.
Mm-hmm. She's pretty good.
She is good. So, let's see, let's dive in. Kara stops by to see Lena. Lena Luthor. And
okay, wait a minute.
What?
You skipped right over her volunteering and what she said in order to volunteer.
Okay, what was that? Go ahead.
Okay, well, they have the Thanksgiving.
I was trying to get into the Lillian stuff, but go ahead. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. Go ahead.
So they're at the DEO headquarters, right?
Right.
And they're talking about that they're going to find out whether Lena knows anything. And they say, well, this is Alex talking to Wynn. Well, maybe we can hack her and find out stuff. And Kara says, well, I could go find out. And they say, how? Reporter stuff.
Right.
And they say,
my one and only contact.
Right. And she says, I can be sneaky. And as she walks away, Alex says to Wynn, hack her anyway.
Yeah.
And Wynn says, already doing it. Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, Kara is not exactly the greatest at stealth. No.
Not nearly. Although, it's not necessary to be stealthy if you're going there to interview her.
Right. But didn't she just already interview her?
Sure, but she made up a good excuse that she was doing an interview with, powerful women and the mothers who shaped them. And of course you'd go see Lena or whatever, Lena Luthor,
Yeah.
and because she's
Right.
a powerful woman and she has a mother who shaped her.
Yeah.
But Lena wasn't having it because she doesn't like her mother. I mean, it's a plausible explanation.
Yeah. So basically, Kara goes to see Lena. They try to talk about her mother. Kara ends up leaving. Lena immediately calls her mom, Lillian, says, "Oh, we got to talk."
Right.
And Lillian comes over. Lena tells her that a reporter is starting to raise suspicions about her.
Right.
Reporter,
Right.
in air quotes.
There's a lot of pent-up anger
Right.
on both sides of that conversation, where it comes out, and Lillian does not mince words.
No, because she admits that Lex was her favorite.
Yeah, every parent has a favorite.
Yeah.
If they tell you otherwise.
They're lying.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she is the worst.
Yeah. So you kind of see where Lex got it from.
Right. And we also find out, like in the comics,
Yeah.
the daughter, what's her name again?
Lena.
I keep wanting to call her Lana.
Yeah, because of Lana Lang.
I know.
Yeah.
So Lena is adopted, just like in.
It's all the LLs. Yeah.
Right. I wish they would name them something different.
But it's a tradition.
I know it is. So she's adopted, just like in the comics. And why she was adopted, I mean,
It all
why
depends.
did
It
they
all
use-
depends because there's been several versions of Lena.
right.
So
Why did they even adopt a kid if they were gonna just
maybe they figured, well, Lex isn't really working out so well because he's evil.
he's really
Let's see
working
if we can
out.
do this one right.
Let's trade him in for another one.
Yeah. Or maybe we need a backup because Lex might end up killing himself.
Well, apparently her father,
The heir and the spare, as it were.
right, her father loves her.
Right.
That came out also in this conversation. So
Because if you
But
watch Smallville, Lionel Luthor doesn't really dig Lex, but
that's right. Well, he doesn't. I mean, that's the whole deal. Is that they're rivals.
I would love to see the actor who played Lionel Luthor make an appearance on
yes.
Supergirl.
He's amazing. That actor. I can't remember his name.
I can't
but-
remember his name either. He's also did the voice of the Riddler on Batman the Animated Series.
Mhm.
That's how I first got to.
He's fantastic.
That's how he first hit my radar. But yeah, he's great.
So a lot.
John Glover.
That's it, John Glover. Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's great. So yeah, he needs to be on as Lionel Luthor. That would be fantastic if they could do that. I don't know if they would, but
a lot of nasty stuff happens.
But they
in
do
that.
have like a lot of Superman previous actors, so maybe
They do.
it's possible.
Okay, so stuff comes out there, and it does set up for the stuff that happens when they next meet.
Yes.
Because she finds out that, I can't please you,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So that sets it up for when she does find out that her mother has the Medusa virus. Oh, there's a way I can subvert that.
Yeah. But Lena, she ends up confronting Lillian about Cadmus,
Mm-hmm.
and then surprisingly gives her the experimental isotope.
Right. In order to prove
Her trustworthiness. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and then they end up constructing this missile that Lillian's like, "Hey, I got you a missile,"
Right.
which I thought was kind of funny.
And
Because hey, who doesn't want a missile?
sure,
Sure.
I'd take one.
All you have to do is press the button.
There's not enough hand grenades in this
So
world.
and
That's
this
what I
missile's going to
always say.
contain the Medusa virus, of course, and he's going to launch it all over the city.
And that's one of Lillian's failings, is that as soon as someone flatters her,
Right.
especially her daughter who wants to win her affection, quote unquote, she buys right into it.
Because she
Of
figures,
course
well,
she does.
like, why wouldn't you be, be partnered with me?
Right. Why wouldn't you want to join in?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Who doesn't want to launch this virus over a city? It's
Right.
awesome.
Right.
We got to get rid of these aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it turns out though, Supergirl, has to take out this missile. Lena presses the device, and guess what? It explodes. But surprise! Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah. Nothing
happens. Yeah.
because Lena.
Double crossed.
Yep.
Betrayed by a
Lena-
Luthor. No.
Lena did something to the virus in order to make it inert.
Yep. So guess what, Mom? I totally sabotaged your plan. Your evil plan.
He blowed up real good.
Very nice. Yes. So the isotope is rendered inert, and guess what? I call the cops about
That's
your
right.
plans.
And I'm guessing that there's no more of the Medusa virus.
As far as we know, but of course it could always make a reappearance because Cadmus. Somebody just has to have this on an old floppy disk or something
Of course.
somewhere.
Or a crystal in
Yeah.
the fortress.
True.
And by the way, why?
Why would you make a backup of all this?
Why
somewhere?
did we have to kill the robot?
Well, we don't know. Kellex is, could be just disabled.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I miss Kellex.
Superman will just, take a couple minutes and rebuild him. No big deal. Kellex Part 2.
Where
Part
was
2.
Superman in all this, by the way?
Where is Superman when half this stuff happens on Supergirl?
Right?
Why wasn't he with part of the Invasion crossover?
I'm so mad.
Yeah.
They could have gotten back, right?
One would think. Like, you stop by, all Carr had to say, well, sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I
No.
would think that,
Hey, my cousin could come
hey,
along.
my cousin, who's, even more powerful than I am.
And she mentions him, too.
Yeah.
It's just my cousin and me on my world, she said.
Yeah. Well, no,
And
she's hinted about Batman, though, on her world.
Yeah, but she says that.
Yeah.
And Barry could have said, your cousin?
Yeah.
Why didn't you bring him along? We could have
used more help.
Right.
No.
But no, he just kind of it off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, I got this friend named the Guardian, and that could help, and maybe.
Right.
And... yeah.
There's all these people with powers.
Right.
Plus, there's Mon-El.
Mon-El could help. Where's Mon-El?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And?
Well, to be
Jean?
Yeah, Jean. Yeah, that's kind of a big one. The Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Or Miss Martian.
Right?
Right. But apparently our budget only allowed for Supergirl
But
herself.
There's not just her and her cousin.
Yeah.
But that's what she says.
I know.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, what else here? Okay, so coming clean or not?
A lot of people want to come clean in this episode.
Yes.
But only one of them does.
Right, because as you talked about, we had a Thanksgiving get-together for Kara, James, Wynn, and Alex. Guess who shows up? Eliza and Mon-El.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so in
Mon-El is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, Kara starts this traditional Thanksgiving speech.
You didn't mention that he brought stuffing.
No, I didn't. I didn't mention that.
Stuffing out of his mattress.
Right, because he's an alien. Womp womp.
And he wants to learn more about this science thing.
Yeah.
That Eliza does.
Right.
Come on. There's science on
You would think.
Jackson, right?
What is the science you speak of? Right. Yeah. Sigh. Okay.
Right.
So there's James's attempt to reveal the truth about Guardian ends up kind of being totally overlooked or downplayed because Alex announces her coming out to Eliza.
Sort of. Well, she doesn't because a wormhole opens up
That's
over
true.
the table
That's
and she
she-
gets interrupted.
Right, but still.
She's about to.
And everybody's just like, what is up with this wormhole?
She shuts him down in the stupidest way. I mean, he's like, okay, James stands up and says, I'm so thankful for you, Kara, because you're so understanding. And she goes, no, she's not. Yes, she's very understanding. No, she's not. And then Wayne goes, but Kara is no, she's not. And Kara's just like, what?
What?
And then Mon-El gets up and says, well, I'm thankful for Kara because of all the places I could have landed in my pod, I was found by you, Kara. And
Aww. Aww.
And then Alex just bounds right up, half drunk, off of her ass.
Yeah, because apparently there was lots of wine flowing at the get-together.
I don't know if you noticed, but she had a beer in her hand, and Kara takes it out of her hand.
Notice. I did. No. That was Eliza. Takes it out of her hand and puts it.
No, Kara takes it out.
Was it Kara? Because she puts it in the freezer.
Right. And there's hard liquor in there.
Right.
And when she goes back to the freezer to take it out, she takes out the hard liquor.
Right. There was that Kara's distracted by her mom or whatever, and in the background you see Alex raiding the fridge to get the booze back, which I thought was great.
And she gets whatever the brown colored liquor is.
I love that.
Like,
the Mad
Jack
Dog,
Daniels
the Mad Dog 2020.
Right. And I thought it was hilarious.
That was a great scene.
Right. So she is completely drunk, and she's like, I want to say something right now. And then this thing opens up. And, yeah. And then there's talk back at CEO about, well, that was an interesting Thanksgiving where a wormhole opens up in the middle of dinner.
Yep. Now, eventually, though, Alex gets to come out to her mother.
Sort of.
Well,
her mother guesses.
Well, that's my point is, though, is that her mother obviously figured it out long ago.
Right.
It's like, of course you are.
Right.
So I'm glad you're finally accepted this.
Right.
And I'm totally supportive.
Yeah, why would I care?
So, well, her mom, basically Eliza has a much better reaction to that than Supergirl did.
Right. And she has a much better reaction to it than Alex did.
Yes.
And Alex admits this to her and says, wow, this is easier than I thought.
Right.
And it's a nice coming out scene where she's very hesitant to say anything.
Right.
And it's very, very nice.
Yeah, and then we had John trying to come clean about turning into a white Martian.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
He had no choice.
Yeah.
Because he showed that face to Kara.
But thankfully it all works out because guess what? Eliza figured out how to reverse engineer it and fix all that.
Right.
So
because
guess what?
Of the virus.
Because we don't need the Martian Manhunter being a white Martian.
Right.
He's a green Martian. He's going to stay that way.
And there was a time Mon-El was in the bar when the virus was let go, and he got hit with a little bit of it, but he ended up following the real Hank out of the bar, who was the one who planted it there.
Yeah, the cyborg Superman, Hank.
Right. And when he went back in, everybody was already dead.
Yeah. So I guess it's a good thing he went out, because otherwise he didn't get a full blast.
Although he is partially immune to it because Kryptonians are immune to it. Now, I have something to ask of you.
Yes.
Kryptonians are immune to it because our father created it, and it should exterminate all other aliens.
Right. Yeah.
Aren't
including
we
yes.
aliens?
You would think. You would think. Little plot hole there.
Right.
Unless, okay.
Unless they didn't know?
No, unless Lillian and Cadmus tweaked it so that it wouldn't hurt humans, because that would be really dumb of them, right?
Sure.
That's my guess.
That makes sense.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Glad I solved that for you.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, because why would we launch a virus that ends up killing us? That would be pretty dumb.
Right.
We're trying to get rid of the aliens, not us.
Good plan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just saying if they...
I like this plan. I'm excited by it.
Like maybe they didn't know what it would do.
Yeah. But hopefully they would like take the time and go like, well, hope this doesn't kill us.
Did they know that it wouldn't hurt Kara?
Right. Here's my question though.
Right.
Okay. Why would Superman keep a virus that could kill humans
Right.
in the Fortress of Solitude?
Right. Why would Batman keep kryptonite?
Unless he didn't know it was in there.
That's true. He might not. He doesn't know half the crap that's in there.
Pretty much.
Because there's crystals
Crystals everywhere. Yeah, exactly. So we also got Maggie showing up at Alex's apartment and saying that almost dying gave her perspective, and then she starts making out with Alex.
Right.
So that lasted all of a week.
Right.
Yeah.
We knew it would.
We knew it was going to happen.
And didn't we predict that she
yeah.
was just saying that because she wanted Alex to kind of find herself first?
Right.
And that's essentially what she said.
Well, one of the things that Alex had called her out and said, look, like, I thought we had something, and here you are just trying to blow it off and say that, well, just because, like, I'm a newbie lesbian,
right?
That it's not going to happen because you're chicken.
Right.
So
one of my lesbian friends calls it baby gay.
Right. Baby gay. Yeah.
Right. Which I think is great.
Right. But apparently Maggie decides, okay, well, I guess, since I almost checked out, maybe I shouldn't be, like, using that as an excuse not to get together and hook up.
Right.
So there you go.
He doesn't want to waste any more time.
So that's
good. And then, of course, there's Mon-El, who chats up Eliza.
Right.
And Kara is so stupid that she thinks...
Kara? No.
That she thinks Mon-El likes her mother. Likes her mother, as she said later on in the episode. Do you like me? Like you? What?
All she had to do was just get a piece of paper and put two boxes on it
like
and say, do
me?
you like me? Check yes or no here.
Right. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they play a game of chess through the glass, and she asks him if he likes her, and he completely plays it off and says, have you seen the women that I can pull? No, of course I don't. Completely lies. And then while he's half out of it, he's completely in the bag with the virus, he lays one on her big time. You're so pretty. And then big smackaroo. And he remembers because of that look at the end. He remembers, but he plays it off, and he says he doesn't remember.
Right.
Rat. What a rat.
Daxamite.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, right. So, and then wormholes everywhere.
Well, before that, we get a scene also with weird people with masks and robes on that are looking for Mon-El.
Right. And that is... something else.
It has to be someone.
Well, here's what I think. From what I understand, we have not seen the last of the Dominators.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be appearing on Supergirl. Because if you remember during the crossover, we'll get into this in a minute, Supergirl says, oh yeah, the Dominators, I know those guys.
Right.
Which we didn't really follow up on.
Right, but we will.
But it's kind of a big deal, I would think.
So, in that invasion storyline, they teamed up with other races to do stuff.
In the comics.
Right. Do you think they're going to do that?
Well, and one of those races was the Daxamites.
Right.
So we may see some other Daxamites.
Right.
In the future.
Well, they controlled her mind.
Right.
So do you think they got from her mind that she knows Mon-El?
Probably. So because especially if Mon-El's a royal, like the royal prince or whatever.
Right.
I'm a prince.
So speculation. Then.
So yeah, that's speculation.
We'll find out.
But imagine they would probably want to be looking for the prince.
Right.
On Daxam.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Kind of fits my theory, don't you think?
It so does. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that scene.
Thank you.
Is your theory.
So
what's his name? By the way.
Yeah.
Called him Mon-El, and I'm so mad about that
because it's Largand.
His name is not Mon-El.
It's Largand.
Especially if he's a prince.
Yep. maybe I hope to God that comes out when they reveal that he's a prince.
It won't.
Please, it won't. I know, but I hope it
won't.
does.
They're using Mon-El so that people who don't really read the comics will recognize who he is.
Right.
It's so dumb.
It is dumb. All right, so wormholes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we see him those interdimensional portals that look vaguely vibish appearing.
Okay, like 3 times.
3 times throughout the episode. They finally there's a portal that shows up in Carr's apartment once again.
Right.
And guess who pops out? Barry Allen and Cisco Ramon.
That's right.
Wormhole Bros.
Yep.
Wormhole Bros.
Well, that's the only way they're bros at this point.
That's true because and they show up. Barry's just like, "Hey, Kara. Hey, you want to go out for ice cream? Because we love our ice cream."
Yep.
And this is my friend Cisco, and Cisco's Debbie Downer Cisco at this point. So he goes, "Well, friend is a loose term or whatever."
Right. We're co-workers.
Co-workers.
Yeah.
Because I'm mopey.
Yeah. I hate him.
I hate Debbie Downer Cisco so much.
Me too.
So,
but that's over now after the end of all this.
Thankfully, I hope to God. Yep. Yes. So as long as they don't keep bringing it up again. So basically, Barry calls in his favorites, like, "Hey, you want to help us out? Because we got this alien thing."
Right. And Kara is so cute at this point. First of all, she's got her little like Heidi hairdo.
Yeah.
Which is adorable.
Right.
Right. And she's like, "I knew it. I knew it was you with blue things everywhere. Barry, I knew it." She's just so adorable.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Of course I'll come with you." So
the Flash and Supergirl in the Berlanti verse are always great to watch.
They are fantastic.
And that thankfully that continues. So,
mm-hmm.
So anything else about this episode?
I think I interrupted with my little parts.
Yeah, that's good. You did good.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad you did.
I wanted to put them in where they went.
You helped me out, so I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I was just trying to get through everything, but
I know.
Okay, try and move things along.
We're good though.
That's why we're a great team.
Okay, good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we fill in each other's gaps.
I'm gonna be a Karen Downer though on my score.
Uh-oh. What's your score?
I didn't grade it very high because really the only great part was the ending for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was our crossover. That whole thing. That was it.
Which I'm okay with. I am not butthurt about it. There were some good parts in the main storyline. I'm not a fan of the virus thing. I don't know. I just thought it was a little manipulative. To say, "Oh, my mom hates me. Oh, no." And then the virus affecting people differently and, people revealing stuff and not revealing stuff. And I don't know. It wasn't the best episode for me. So I gave it a 7.5, and that's not horrible. It's very close to an 8.
No.
7.5 servings of glazed carrots. Wynn was very excited about those glazed carrots.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't. It was covering for him saying.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Yeah.
All right. I was a bit more generous on this one than you were.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoyed this, not just because the Flash and Cisco showing up, although that helped.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that Lena totally backstabbed her mom.
I like that too.
I like that. That raised my score.
That was a big high point.
I like the fact that they're not going to draw out this thing with Jean. It's like we've already fixed the whole White Martian thing. Thank God.
Was a huge hand wave.
So I was really happy about that. So that was going to bug me if they were going to drag this out as a running subplot.
I don't mind that they got rid of it, but it was a huge hand wave.
Yep, and we finally got to see Jean throwing down with Hank Henshaw.
That was great.
That was great. So
I love when his little mask came off.
David Ramsey.
Yeah.
That was cool.
David Ramsey?
Yeah,
That's not his name.
Well, it's the actor's name, right?
No, David Ramsey is the guy on Arrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
All right.
Oh, what is the guy's name on as Jean? I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
I'll find out.
Big fail on that one. I don't know why I was thinking him for some reason. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I thought it was great. I liked Helen Slater. Always lights up the room when she comes in as Eliza.
I like her.
So yeah. I thought
David
that was great.
Harewood.
David Harewood. See, I was a David. That's what threw me,
Mhm.
because they're both Davids.
Right.
Okay. So, see, I just got screwed up on Davids.
You
That's all.
did. You're fine.
Okay.
Oh.
So I give it 8.5 awkward dimensional portals because they were popping in at really awkward times.
Excellent.
All right. So now we can officially dive into the Evasion crossover
Let's do.
with episode 8 of the third season, appropriately titled "Invasion!" exclamation mark.
Right.
And this is what's our A, B, and
It's
C?
just
This?
like the comic.
Yes. I'm sorry. Are written by. Here, let me flip ahead here because we're kind of doing things out of order. Teleplay by Aaron Helbing and Todd Helbing, who always write the big episodes on The Flash. Directed by Dermot Downs.
Which was the money on HRs? HRs.
Yes.
HR's
There's
Planet.
Yes.
Helbing.
HR. Yeah. The Helbings. I give it 500 quatloos. I would like to wager 500 quatloos. That's a Star Trek reference.
I know. I
Okay.
love it.
Or a Futurama reference.
That's right. They used it too.
Yeah.
A story is team up target practice in reference to Supergirl and them introducing each other.
Right.
B story is odd comfort zone, and that is Barry's storyline and who he gets comfort from.
Yeah.
The last person you would think would give him comfort. And C story is the main story, actually, out of their minds.
Right. Okay, so team up target practice is, well, we kind of go back a little bit. Even though you already watched that Supergirl scene.
Right.
They
do go backwards.
We go back a little bit to when the Dominators first arrive on Earth. There's like a satellite alarm, alerts everybody, hey, there's like this big meteor coming toward Earth or whatever. So the Flash runs out to check it out. There's a spaceship there, and all of a sudden all these Dominators start pouring out of the spaceship, and Barry's just all aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. We're off and running, literally. We find out from Lila Harbinger that the Dominators previously landed in the 1950s, but then mysteriously took off.
Do you think she's ever going to be Harbinger, though?
Well, that's her code name. That's her. That's it. Not hard. Not. I posted this on Twitter. I would love it if Lila made this passing reference to like, hey, I have this boss called the Monitor.
Yeah.
Well, or if she ends up like secretly reporting to the Monitor, like without anybody knowing, even Diggle.
Diggle doesn't know a lot of stuff, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we find out.
So Lila could have this whole thing going on in secret that he wouldn't know. So now, of course, the Arrow writers, are they going to be clever enough to do that? I don't think so. I don't have faith in them.
To do that? No.
No, but maybe in another crossover. Maybe in a Crisis crossover.
I so want that to happen.
That really could happen next year, maybe.
They keep alluding to it, especially this time with the paper.
Yeah.
So he goes back in that room and looks at the paper, which has changed.
Part of me thinks it's going to happen in 2020, which is the fifth season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So hopefully they do it a little sooner than season 5. That's all I'm saying.
Can I play my clip when we get to the part where they introduce each other?
Yeah, sure. Just remind me.
Okay.
Just say, hey, I want to play a clip.
Okay.
Okay. So a little behind the scenes here, guys. Sorry.
No worries.
So
they're okay with it.
Yeah. So real quick. So Barry, obviously realizing he needs some help, he assembles the original Team Arrow, Thea, the Legends people, and Supergirl, who we find out is on Earth 38.
Which is?
Why
do they call it Earth 38?
For 1938,
the
year that Superman was created. Yeah.
And Batman is on Earth 39, the year he was created. And they called the Earth that they're both on Earth 3839. Right?
Interesting. Yep.
They do. Why are you looking at me?
Well,
like
just why would they call it 3839? I didn't remember.
they
hearing it.
merged the two.
Oh,
There's a point where they merge the two Earths
okay.
when they're together, and they call it Earth 3839. You don't know this?
I didn't know this
Oh, it happened.
okay, because this has all been changed with multiversity in the comics. Yeah, so
I don't know what.
Earth 38 and 38 are totally something different in the comics.
I
now.
know they are, and they are still different at one point, but it's some continuity they merge,
Okay.
and they're Earth 3839. One
See, I thought this was just something the show created because I don't remember.
infinite Earths.
Okay. I didn't remember it from Infinite Earths, but okay.
No, I'm just saying there are infinite Earths.
I got
So
it.
there is an Earth 3839,
Got it. Okay.
which would have both.
Got it. All right, you set me straight.
Where does the team go? Where did they assemble?
Well, so they decide to start training. Okay, right. So hey, we need a place to train to fight Supergirl. So
Right.
hey, there's this Star Labs facility that we don't use much, and
What does
guess
it
what?
look like?
It looks quite a lot like the Hall of Justice. So meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice,
It looks exactly like the Hall of Justice.
looks exactly like the Hall of Justice.
The best thing ever.
Yeah. So basically everybody's there. Now before they start training by trying to kick Supergirl's butt, there's a little important aside though, that Martin Stein and Jax pull Barry and Oliver to the side and say, "Oh, we've got this message from future Barry that you may want to listen to."
Mm-hmm.
So we finally find out what the deal is with the message from future Barry.
Right. Who says, "Don't trust me"?
Yeah, so it's Barry from 40 years in the future that this is the message that he gave to Rip Hunter, left for Rip Hunter, saying, "Don't trust present Barry because he screwed up with the timeline because he's an idiot."
Right.
Right. So Barry ends up having to come clean to Martin, Jackson, Oliver about Flashpoint, and they make this pact, okay, we're not going to tell all the others because we don't want to distract them from this alien invasion, which is obviously more important
Right.
now.
Thing.
But yeah, guess what? Cisco ends up finding the message
Because they leave it sitting out.
because
in
they're
the trailer.
idiots. Yeah. Just because you leave that secret message, we don't want anybody finding out lying around. And Cisco, because he's kind of pissed off at Barry, because Barry altered the timeline that caused his brother to be dead.
Right.
So
Killed my brother.
So basically, Cisco throws Barry under the bus in front of everybody.
Yep.
And how it talks about how Barry manipulated the timeline and how it affected you. And Bab Diggle, by the way, you had a son instead of a daughter.
You had a daughter instead of a son. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yes, thank you.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. And all this other stuff. So, yeah. So basically, at this point, only Oliver, Kara, Felicity, Professor Stein, and Jax are the only ones that still trust Barry at this point.
Right.
Everybody else is
after they had this conversation about who was going to be the team leader.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Oliver is still feeding him what to say.
Well, Barry doesn't want it.
Right.
But they all nominate Barry.
Right. Except for Cisco.
Well, even Oliver. Oliver's just like, Barry needs to be the guy.
Right. But Oliver keeps feeding him what to say.
Right.
And Sarah goes, "Are we just supposed to ignore that he's talking?"
Right. Yeah.
She points at Oliver.
Yeah.
So funny. Oliver just should have taken the lead. He's the born leader.
Maybe he thought that Barry needed to step up.
I think so.
Yeah. So he tried.
But Barry's not a born leader right now.
Not now. He should be though. But
right.
Yeah.
Some point, but not now.
It's season 3. You'd think he'd finally start to step up.
But he's not.
Well, that's because he keeps relying on Star Labs, but that's a whole separate issue.
I know.
Because of the writers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway. So let's see what else we've got. The Dominators end up abducting the president.
Right.
And
can I play my?
Yeah, go ahead and play your clip. Sorry.
So they're all introducing each other.
Right.
And
It's basically get everybody caught up on who everybody is.
right. And then they go out in the field, and Kara is very interested as to why Mick's name is Heatwave. And they have this interchange, and it's my favorite thing ever, so I wanted to play the clip because it's my favorite thing ever.
Play the clip.
How did you get the name Heatwave?
I burn my family alive, and I like to light things on fire.
Ah, well, that's a colorful backstory.
Well, my shrink thinks so. By the way, I'm not going to call you Supergirl. Stupid.
You can call me Kara.
That won't work either.
Well, what are you going to shout if you need my help?
Skirt.
Seriously?
Seriously. I'm not going to need your help.
So there.
Yeah.
Because I'm Heatwave, I'll call you Skirt.
Well, you can call me Kara.
No, Skirt. I'm going to call you Skirt.
I'm going to call you Supergirl. That's stupid. What are you going to call me? Skirt. But I won't need your help.
Even though I totally need your help. Later.
And later on, he says, Supergirl, help.
Yeah.
He calls her Supergirl. Right away.
Because he had to give, he had to.
Mm-hmm.
So, because what happens is that after the Dominators abduct the president, Kara ends up leading everybody else in this big rescue effort. And the Dominators end up killing the president, but then entrap our heroes with a mind control device. So therefore, suckers, you're now under control of the Dominators.
Right. Except Barry and
Oliver. Yeah. So because we have to have our Brave and the Bold.
Mm-hmm.
See what it did there?
That's right.
Oliver and Barry, excuse me.
It was Oliver and Wally, though.
Yeah, it was. But yeah. So Oliver and Wally hold him off, but then
Oliver and Barry.
Well, no, because you got Wally shows up to help out.
Right.
So Oliver and Wally hold all the other heroes as they attack Star Labs, while Barry lures Kara to the device and manipulates her into destroying it.
Right.
Right. So then everybody's free. Yeah.
Right. What just happened?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else that hated Barry's like, well, I guess we'll decide to trust you again.
Yeah. Well, not just yet, but yeah, mostly.
Pretty much, right? And
wasn't there something that happened to Cisco where he would have changed something?
No, that's in Legends.
Right. That's when he decides to.
Yes. Yeah.
Do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not everybody but Cisco, I should say. Yeah, decides to trust.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're all on board, we're okay, but Cisco still has issues because he has to be Debbie Downer Cisco.
Right. He waits until the end of the invasion. So.
And then, all of a sudden, these teleport beams come down and kidnap Sarah, Ray, Diggle, Thea, and Oliver because we have to go into our Arrow crossover.
So it's all the Arrow people.
All the Arrow people, Team Arrow.
Right.
Well, and Ray.
And Sarah.
And Sarah, yeah.
But they were on Arrow first.
They were on Arrow first, yes. Correct.
And they're all humans.
Right.
They're
point.
Not humans.
Good point. They are.
And there's a reason for that.
And there's a reason for that. But guess what? We'll find out in part 2 of the Fandom Zone.
That's right.
Dun, dun, dun. Because you've listened to us talk long enough for now. And so we're going to pick this up in part 2 of Invasion.
Danger Zone.
Danger Zone. So I hope you guys come back for part 2 because we're going to talk obviously about Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then we're also going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And what else? Luke Cage. Gotham and Luke Cage. Episode 9 of Luke Cage. So lots to do, lots to talk about. But we're going to talk about, Karen and I will talk about this tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to get this out as fast as we can.
Sure.
So you guys, because we know that, you tune in for the first half of the Invasion crossover, you want to find out what we thought about the rest of it.
That's right.
So, all right.
So what's our grade for The Flash?
What's our grade for The Flash? Good point. I see what you did there. My rating on this, I'm going to go first. My rating was 8.5 dominating dominators.
Very nice.
But you even liked it even more.
Stole it.
Yes.
Yes, I loved The Flash.
So what was your rating?
It was my favorite out of all 4. I gave it 9 familiar-looking buildings.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Yeah. I loved that they had
Yes.
the headquarters. I loved it. And, Felicity gets her one-liners in. Best team up ever!
Yeah.
And I thought,
She
okay,
geeks out. But,
come on.
Yeah.
She
Now,
geeks out even more.
To be fair, the Hall of Justice is kind of a fixer-upper.
Big time.
So maybe we'll give it a fresh coat of paint later on.
Let's hope so. I
Let's
hope
hope.
they actually use it later.
I just want them to install a trouble alert.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah.
It's the trouble alert.
Well, it's the same warehouse they use in Arrow on the inside. They're all big warehouses.
Yep.
It's just the same one over and over.
Just keep the Wonder Twins out. That's all I'm asking.
And the monkey, whatever the monkey.
Gleek, yeah. Zane and Jaina and Gleek, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But good episode. And we're going to also do our feedback in the next episode.
Yeah, and Justina, don't worry.
It will actually be in this episode.
Yes, so just everybody be patient. We'll be back.
Yep.
And hopefully Karen will be feeling a little bit better. She's a little under the weather.
Yeah, I had a migraine this last week, so I'm taking it easy. So
yeah. So we're going to split this up on 2 separate days. So with that in mind, we will see you again for part 2 of the Phantom Zone Invasion.
That's right.
Bye everyone for now.